The secret to superior immune function, what the ancients knew. Let's take a look at immune health today. In the Western world in particular, modern plumbing and an abundance of food and pure water give us a huge advantage in battling disease. For nearly 70 years, we've also been able to depend on both antibiotics and vaccines for many of our most deadly infections, typhus, scarlet fever, and many more. Despite these advances, people still succumb to viruses, and in fact, we're often less able to fight them off. So why is this? Well, in the past, people didn't have the resources that we take for granted today. Sanitation wasn't well understood, and it certainly was not as advanced as what we live with today. People had no drugs like antibiotics. Starvation in the winter was a real possibility for many. So our ancestors learned to rely on what they could create from nature, plant-based medicines and nutrients to support their innate immune health. And here is the truth. Your body was created to exist in our world with bacteria, microbes, viruses, fungi, and all. Your body is incredibly able to protect you from the majority of invaders, and it does so on a daily basis. In fact, your immune system relies on bacteria to work correctly and fully. You must also provide your body with the raw materials, the nutrients, for your immune system to be able to function at its peak. The ancients stayed healthy due to lifestyle habits. In general, we are missing a few key lifestyle habits that they had that would allow our bodies to stay as healthy as possible, and probably even healthier than theirs because we do have so many advances in technology today. Daily habits for immune health include drink more good water. This sounds kind of simple, but the truth is many people do not drink enough water. Instead, they drink soda, juice, coffee, things that actually are more detrimental than not even just drinking enough water. In particular, soda and coffee are very dehydrating. They're a stress on your body. So drinking water instead of other drinks can be a tremendous boost to your immune function. Get enough pure air and sunlight. Some of us live in cities. Some of us live in areas where winter is very dark. So use natural lighting in your home when you can. Fill your home with plants that offer good oxygenation. And when you can, get outside, get fresh air, and get sunlight. In 1917, which was the last time there was a huge flu pandemic, which killed millions of people worldwide, it was discovered that putting patients, even very ill patients, out in the fresh air and the sun enhanced their ability to recover completely. Exercise. Again, in the winter, it can be not so fun to exercise. It can be easy to be stuck behind a desk or in your office where you work in your house and not really think about how important it is to move your body and move your blood so that you get a good circulation and oxygenation to all your tissues. But on the other side of this is avoid overexertion if you aren't feeling well. If you feel you may be a little vulnerable to an infection, don't overexert yourself. Mild exercise like walking or swimming laps is excellent. It gives your body the movement you need, the oxygenation you need, but without the added oxidative stress that heavy exercise will put upon your body. Get enough good sleep. This is, for many people, one of the toughest daily habits to incorporate. Many of us work long hours. We want to have and do have a social life after that. We need to prepare food if we're making our own meals, which I certainly recommend you do. People like to go out and socialize, and then there is always something to distract us when we get home. We're tired. We want to get away from the day. There's screen time. There's TVs, there's phones, there's tablets. It is not unusual for people to have a TV, a tablet, and a phone in their bedroom. The biggest issue with this is it keeps you from sleeping. and human beings need deep restorative sleep to stay healthy. Eat and incorporate live culture fermented foods in your diet. These are the traditional foods in every culture around the world that added probiotic bacteria and food enzymes into your diet. Even in the worst of winter, even when people were starving, there would be live culture fermented foods. One of the reasons the Northern Europeans drank ale at every meal, including breakfast, watered down often, or wine, is because back then that was a live fermented drink. It certainly had some alcohol in it, but the alcohol actually killed bad bacteria that could potentially cause other issues. Yogurt, kimchi, sauerkraut, miso, so many different types of probiotic drinks, kombucha, kefir, and probiotic foods that were used on a daily basis to help replenish the bacteria that your immune system depend on. You won't find these in the grocery shelf of today unless you're specifically looking. Sanitation has unfortunately kind of gone overboard, and most of what we eat is sanitized out of any kind of live function at all. And eat a micronutrient-rich diet. Again, this is something you have to think about today. 150 years ago, nobody had to think about it because that was the only kind of food they really had, was foods that were rich in micronutrients. Today, with the current farming practices and the amount of processed and packaged foods that people eat, you have to make an actual effort to pay attention to what you're eating in order to make sure your body's getting all the nutrients it needs. So let's look a little closer at fermented foods. Fermented foods, as I said, provide important digestive nutrients that feed our body's innate immune system. Your immune system depends on these bacteria, and fermented foods are a phenomenal source of this if you eat them on a daily basis. In ancient times, those were the tonics used to help us survive harsh weather and starvation in the winter season. When you became weak from lack of calories, the bacteria in the fermented foods would help your immune system to still be able to function at a decent level. They are rich sources of essential probiotic bacteria, and we do need them. 70% of your immune system is located in your gut, and your gut is host to over 100 trillion individual bacteria from up to 500 plus species. There are 10 times more bacteria as human cells in your body. Your immune system is built and created to rely and work with the good bacteria. If we are not providing good bacteria, our body will be filled with 100 trillion bad bacteria, which adds a tremendous amount of stress and inflammatory processes to our lives, making us more vulnerable when infection shows up. So what are some of the functions of probiotics according to science? They prevent the reproduction of pathogenic microflora. They have an antagonistic effect on harmful microorganisms. They strengthen the function of your immune system. They improve your digestion and intestinal motility, which, believe me, if you've ever been constipated, you know that that can make you feel sick all on its own. They are also an essential part of how your body produces vitamin K, cyanocobalamin, which is B12, thiamine, folic acid, biotin, the B vitamins, vitamin K, vitamin E and A also. All of these require the right bacteria to fully be created and assimilated in your body. So you can see that probiotics are hugely important for your immune system and your daily health. Let's take a look at some actual science studies. The purpose of this study, the one I'm talking about, is to investigate the effects of a probiotic supplementation on adult volunteers who have contracted the common cold 4 or more times in the past year. This study is a single-center, double-blind, randomized, controlled, prospective trial. So it's a very legitimate study, and it is on people who have been shown to be vulnerable to catching the cold. This is important. Right now we're in the middle of a pandemic of a coronavirus, and the common cold is a type of coronavirus. So I chose this example because it's very germane to what we are looking and dealing with today. Results of this study demonstrated that probiotics were safe and effective for fighting the common cold and influenza-like respiratory infections by boosting the immune system. And the name of this was a prospective study of probiotic supplementation results in immune stimulation and improvement of upper respiratory infection rate, published in Synthetic and System Biotechnology Journal. A second study, the results of this meta-analysis showed that probiotic consumption significantly decreased the number of children having at least one RTI, which is a respiratory tract infection episode. There were over 4,500 children in this meta-analysis. Children supplemented with probiotics had fewer number of days of RTIs per person compared with children who had taken a placebo, and had fewer number of days absent from daycare or school. The conclusion is that based on the available data and take into account the safety profile of RCTs, which is respiratory infections for children, probiotic consumption appears to be a feasible way to decrease the incidence of RTIs in children. Now, I chose this study because children are another extremely vulnerable segment of our population when it comes to the coronavirus. And this was probiotics for prevention and treatment of respiratory tract infections in children, a systematic review and meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials. So this is a meta-analysis. It took a whole bunch of different trials, made sure it met certain criteria, and then combined all that information together to create one big conclusion. The conclusion being probiotics help your respiratory health when you are presented with a viral infection. So let's look at some specific probiotic-rich foods you can add to your diet. Fresh raw fruit and vegetables offer prebiotic nutrients. Your probiotics need food to grow on, and they very specifically love prebiotic nutrients found in raw fruit and vegetables. Microalgae for enhanced assimilation. Microalgae is a type of ancient wild food that has a lot of micronutrition that feeds not only the probiotics, but also you and your cells. Live fermented foods such as raw kombucha and raw ale, or even raw wine, live culture yogurts, kefir, and raw cheeses that are organic, pickled vegetables like raw sauerkraut or kimchi, raw live vinegars. When you hear about the benefits of apple cider vinegar, what you're really hearing about is the benefits of raw, unpasteurized apple cider vinegar with its live probiotic cultures. And then lastly, I include something called mushroom beta-glucans. It is not in itself a probiotic-rich food. However, it works in concert with probiotics to support your innate function. And we're going to look at fungi and why they're so special. Fungi terraformed our planet. They're one of the two most ancient life forms on the planet, the other being the algae form. Fungi contain some of the most biologically elemental and active nutrients known. In fact, some of those nutrients helped create the templates for health within our own DNA. This food is so ancient that as our DNA developed, it was literally templated off the nutrients it could find in the world around it to help us stay alive. And fungi was an incredibly important part of that process. Tonic fungi, which are fungi that have benefits, have been used for humans for thousands of years. They're important in many spiritual practices and as indigenous foods and medicines. Some of our most powerful modern medicines were synthesized from mushroom nutrients. They offer some of the most powerful benefits in nature, and these benefits include a healthy gastrointestinal system. They help support healthy cardiovascular system. They are anti-inflammatory for your entire body. They facilitate the apoptosis of cancer cells. In particular, fungi have a very powerful effect upon our immune function. So these are all benefits that are proven in multiple studies. The immune benefits found in medicinal mushrooms come from several different nutrients, including vitamins, including D2, C, E, and B vitamins, microminerals like selenium, which is incredibly rare and important for immune health, antioxidant families, including ergosterols and triterpenoids. Antioxidant families are how our bodies help to adjust and deal with the stress of life itself, or the the stress of metabolism, the stress we may come upon in our modern life. Antioxidants are really integral to helping us deal with that in a healthy way. And then the last nutrient found in medicinal mushrooms are beta-glucans, and that's the one I'm going to really focus on next. What about beta-glucans? They are strings of glucose molecules that create a soluble fiber that has incredible health benefits. There are different types of beta-glucans that are named according to how their molecules are strung together. So they are like 1,3, 1,4, 1,7, 1,6. That's all different types of beta-glucans. They have been studied for a long time. After a century and a half of research, studies have shown that beta-glucans act as immunomodulator agents, meaning that they trigger a cascade of events that help to regulate your immune system, making it more efficient. Clinical trials have shown that the specific type of beta-glucan structures found in yeast and other fungi are the most effective in activating and supporting a healthy immune response. So how do they work? They work with our innate immune system cells. We are born with these specialized immune cells in the lining of our gut and in our skin. They are our baseline system of defense against invaders. The immune cells found in all parts of the skin are called fibroblasts. They create spider web-like tentacles that emanate out of them throughout your skin. They're like an intricate lattice work, and basically they literally patrol and engulf foreign invaders. They help us recognize when something not healthy is coming our way. In your gut, these cells are called Peyer's patches. Here they keep watch on viruses, bacteria, and other invaders, jumping into action with several types of immune response cells when those are detected. When you take beta-glucans, it wakes up the fibroblast and Peyer patch cells. Beta-glucans improve the ability of these immune cells to do their work. They also enhanced wound healing by modulating the immune system's inflammatory response. So let's take a look at what this really looks like. So you would have on the far left, you see the blue kind of funny looking cell. That would be one of your immune cells. And then the beta-glucan literally latches onto a receptor. And when it latches onto that receptor, that immune cell wakes up. It doesn't force a reaction. It wakes that cell up to be able to have a reaction. It would be like you needing to answer a question, but you're dead asleep. You know, it's going to take a while if somebody has to wake you up and get you conscious before you can answer a question, right? Well, the beta-glucan basically wakes that cell up. So now it's ready to answer any questions, to answer any issues that your body has. So now if a pathogen happens to come by, that immune cell is ready to do its work, which is to help the rest of your immune system react appropriately. It may produce interleukins, immunoglobulins, cytokines, B cells, T cells, natural killer cells. All of these will work in response to what the innate immune cell is telling it. And where it looks like is like this. So you see the villi, the little humps on either side of this screen. And in the center, there are little smaller like domes. And in those domes lie the Peyer patch cells. And so they are filtering all the time the information coming into your digestive tract, but also they're filtering information that's coming in through your lymph. If you see the green veins, those are your lymph vessels. And so in your lymph nodes are a whole lot of immune cells. And if your Peyer's patch picks up something that's not right, it begins to send out its chemical warfare signals to activate those lymph nodes to release the appropriate immune type of cell to help your body combat a disease. So let's take a look at an actual study of beta-glucans and immune health. The strong immunostimulating potential of beta-glucans has been well established in numerous diseases. However, the effects on viral infection were less studied. So this is a study about beta-glucans and viruses. The results. We found that a 2-week oral feeding with a glucan mixture significantly reduced the effects of influenza infection and total mortality. Our study was focused on the phagocytosis, cytokine levels, antibody responses, and cytotoxicity assay. So it was dealing with the chemical responses that were developed by adding beta-glucans to a diet. Conclusions is that based on our data, we concluded that these effects are caused by stimulation of both cellular and humoral immune reaction, resulting in a lower viral load. That is the key takeaway. Adding beta-glucans helps your body to reduce the reproduction of viruses in your system once you've been exposed. And this is from glucan supplementation enhances the immune response against an influenza challenge in mice, Annals of Translational Medicine. Next one is going to talk about some of the important fungi for us and our immune health. Now, any mushroom that is edible is going to help you. I'll tell you that right now. Even if it's a white button mushroom, all mushrooms contain beta-glucans. There are certain mushrooms that are powerfully tonic and medicinal, as well as edible. And so I've chosen 4 of these more common and most potent fungi to talk to you about: reishi, maitake, shiitake, and turkey tail, and then also purified baker's yeast, which I'll talk more about in a moment. Reishi is perhaps the most famous of scientifically researched fungi. This is also known as Ganoderma. Reishi is rich in amino acids, enzymes, and minerals. It has wide-ranging health benefits because of high levels of micronutrients. It alone has more than 130 identified triterpenoid compounds. So 130 different antioxidants in one thing. It's phenomenal. Its complex sugars, that are the beta-glucans, by the way, help strengthen immunity. It is shown in studies to help high cholesterol and blood pressure, and that is just 2 of many dozens of benefits for the body. And that's what reishi looks like. It's not edible. It's edible. It's not a culinary mushroom. So you would buy it in a powder or in a capsule and eat it that way. Turkey tail is one of the most powerful immune support fungi in nature. They contain a variety of powerful antioxidants and other compounds that may even help fight certain cancers. There's quite a lot of studies showing the benefits turkey tail has against cancer. Turkey tail also improves gut bacteria balance, and that impacts your immunity, as we've talked about, because we need those good bugs. Turkey tail is woody. It is not chewable at all. It needs to be carefully dried and ground up and used in a capsule. Even a powder would be pretty gritty to try and eat. Shiitake is a well-known culinary mushroom, as is maitake. So both of these can be found in many stores. They're delicious, delicious. Shiitake is more available than maitake. Both of them are phenomenal. Shiitake also boosts the immune system. It lowers blood cholesterol levels. The statins that we have as drugs were developed from isolated compounds found in shiitake. They help reduce the hardening of the arteries. It supports stable blood sugars, and it is used in cancer treatments. Maitake has long been valued as a gourmet culinary mushroom. It is delicious, folks. It contains a variety of beneficial phospholipids, unsaturated fatty acids, polysaccharides. Again, those are the beta-glucans. Antioxidants and plant sterols. That is an antioxidant family, including the potent ergosterol. This adaptogenic mushroom promotes wellness and vitality and helps your body cope with stressors. Benefits include helping maintain healthy blood sugar levels and weight loss. It promotes cardiovascular health. So again, these are just a very few of those benefits. And as I said, you can find both of these in the gourmet section of your store. Especially shiitake. You can even get them frozen, which does not hurt it if it's a good brand. You want organic with all mushrooms. Well, all foods if you can afford it, but in particular mushrooms. They are what we call bioaccumulators. If there are toxins in the environment, it will accumulate them into its structure. It's extremely important that you have quality control and organic certification to protect you from some of the toxins and contaminations that can happen when you raise a mushroom. And then the last one that's super important is baker's yeast beta-glucans. In particular, purified baker's yeast offers a particularly effective form of beta-glucans, which are called 1,3,1,6 beta-glucans. These have been extensively studied for their benefits on immune function, and those benefits are impressive. They're a fantastic addition to any mushroom beta-glucan formula. You can eat just baker's yeast and get the beta-glucans without a doubt, but for many people, eating baker's yeast can cause some sensitivity reactions because of the proteins. It's a very small fungi that can cause reactions for some people. So the purification removes the elements within the baker's yeast that could potentially lead to a reaction, removes those nanoproteins and all the cellular contents, and it's left with a hollow microsphere that is just the 1,3,1,6 beta-glucan. And that it makes it both concentrated and extremely powerful. And there were lots of studies to choose from. I probably have 300 or 400 studies I could have looked through, and I did look through many of them. This is a study with the swine influenza virus, or swine flu. And I went here because, of course, we're dealing with coronavirus, and I wanted to find a study that would show us what will this purified beta-glucan do for us right now with what we're looking at in our society and world. The concentrations of the interferon gamma, IFN gamma, and nitric oxide in the bronchoalveolar lavage fluid from pigs pre-administered beta-glucan and then infected with SIV were significantly higher than for any other group. So interferon gamma and nitric oxide are part of the immune system's reaction to help protect us and help us fight off a viral infection. So what they're saying is that inside your lungs, these pigs were given beta-glucan first and then infected with the swine flu, and they had a much higher reaction of these powerful immune modulators that were going to help fight the virus. So Saccharomyces cerevisiae is the baker's yeast. Beta-glucan reduced the pulmonary lesion score and viral replication rate in SIV-infected pigs. These findings support the potential application of beta-glucan as a prophylactic treatment agent in influenza virus infection. So findings support that using beta-glucans prophylactically ahead of time can help your body react in a stronger way to fight a virus off and have less of a reaction if you do get the virus. And perhaps most important of all, I talked a little bit about making sure you have an organic mushroom or fungi, but when purchasing any supplement or food, quality control is king. You have to know that there is some level of quality control that you can trust. Companies lie, marketing lies. And so I always look for third-party verification of safety and free of toxins and contaminations. And the gold standard of safety is going to be a GMP registration for the manufacturing facility. That means that you are guaranteed a safe, pure product with no contaminants or toxins. So there may or may not be an NSF label on the bottle, but if you read about the product you're looking at buying and it was manufactured in an NSF GMP certified manufacturing facility, those products have been tested for purity and safety. And that's one of the most important things we can do when we have to take care of ourselves, is to stay safe with our choices. I hope this presentation is beneficial in your life. Thank you.